this week, I met with the Highways England, discussing the closure of the lay-bys on the A1089 and A13. As we all know, after a number of false starts and promises that they would be done, they haven't. With the hours of that meeting, 2 of them have been coned off, the rest will be done by the end of this weekend. This has only been managed by constant pressure from the council, from councillors and from residents. Irrespective of which party, everyone's asked for the same, it is finally happening. So cutting off these lay-bys will stop some of the most terrible fly tipping, including the use of bottles and bags for human waste. It's quite disgusting if anyone's been down there, it really is terrible, and this hopefully will help stop that terrible practice. On other terrible practices, we're also working with Highways England and the police on a netting programme to make sure that all vehicles carrying waste through the borough are properly netted. Again, you've all seen problems when they drive past with this flying off the back of them. We'll be making all local businesses that operate this type of vehicles aware of penalties and the mess that they actually cause when they're unsheeted. Hopefully this will work towards a much cleaner borough. We also found out that the works on Junction 3031 should be completed before Christmas. We've been told they'll be done by the end of November. This will free up obviously the traffic going in and out of Lakeside. And again, working with Lakeside and other businesses to put pressure on Highways England has given us this assurance. I've also asked for the results of 47,000 Lower Thames crossing consultations to be passed with when they've been collated. We all know that Thurrock's been left out of the loop when decisions have been made and how those decisions have been formed. So having the same information as Highways England and the ministers will put us on the level pegging with nothing else. Clean It, Cut and Fill It is coming to its pilot end at the end of this month. Since it began, we've collected an additional 2,000 bags, over 2,000 bags of rubbish, which we've piled up together with the equivalent of 2 double-deckers side by side. We've cut the equivalent extra grass that would make up 93 lakeside shopping centres, including the car parks. We've also filled around 8,000 potholes, which, if they're all laid end-to-end, is roughly twice the size of Canary Wharf Tower. So, when you put this in something that you can equate to, it's quite an awful lot of work. And my thanks goes to all the officers and all the staff who've been involved in making this happen. Obviously, when this finishes, we'll be appraising this and looking at how we're going to take this forward in the future. What was interesting was this morning I met some residents of Little Thurrock in one of the old persons complexes who said, Grays is so much cleaner and the streets appears to be getting clean. So these are the people that we're doing it for, our residents. They also asked me to thank those personally that are doing this. So a big thanks, as I say, to all the staff that are cleaning the streets and making this work. This leads me on to the enforcement. We've said what we do, we clean it up, we've said that we're going to make people aware, and now the next part will start. Unanimously, Clean Arena Open Scrutiny Committee endorsed the need for enforcement. That will happen in the next couple of weeks. We'll be making more and more announcements so residents will be aware of what's going to happen and when. But simple, you drop rubbish deliberately on the floor in Thurrock, you'll see, you'll get a fine. If you don't like facing a fine, you'll be facing a magistrate. It's as simple as that. Rubbish doesn't miraculously appear, it comes from residents, it comes from vehicles. So the last warning to everybody, make sure it doesn't happen. Finally, some of you may have already seen that I've started a review of the housing service. This is something that's long overdue and hasn't been done to this level. We are the landlords of just over 10,000 families in Thurrock, and we shouldn't be getting complaints regularly of a lack or very poor levels of repairs and upgrades, of poor customer service, and letting homes that are not, quite frankly, in a fit state to do so. And worse still, applying policies that really don't make sense at times. If this were a private landlord, I'm sure we'd be prosecuting them. So we should be setting that as a benchmark for ourselves. Part of this review will be a condition survey. Again, it's something that's not been properly carried out in the past. Once we know what the condition of our stock is, we'll know how to spend the money, how to put our resources, and what to do for the future tenants. This review will also be seeking the input of obviously our tenants groups, elected members from all groups in the chamber, our MPs and our MEPs. The first stage should take somewhere between 4 to 6 months to complete, And once it's been done, it will go in front of the Housing Open Scrutiny Committee for a final check before we start implementing any policy changes or direction changes in the way that we deal with our tenants. So for those 10,000 homes, now is the beginning of the change that should see them